Foxborough's got that uneasy buzz today, the kind you feel before the rest of the league catches on. There are chess pieces sliding quietly, there are messages hidden between the lines, and there's one decision that could decide whether next January ends with confetti or with that empty, brutal silence. Today I'm going to walk you through signals a lot of people gloss over, but they point straight at the heart of Mike Vrabel's plan. Would you buy the risk now to win later? Picture the noise this creates inside the locker room. A.J. Brown sits down on a podcast with Julian Edelman and Rob Gronkowski, and suddenly the word Patriots is hanging in the middle of the conversation like a spark over gasoline. Edelman drops, "We're all Patriots," and Brown doesn't swat it away. He gives a little wink. That's not a contract, that's not an announcement, but it's the kind of moment that pours fuel on trade talk before the calendar even flips. But the heaviest part came right after that, because then it stops being cute and it gets real. Brown admitted he didn't enjoy playing for Mike Vrabel back when they were together in Tennessee. And it wasn't some vague, "we didn't vibe." He straight up explained that Vrabel would call guys out in meetings, make sure everybody knew the keys to the weekly game plan inside and out. And Brown said at the time he would fake taking notes while writing, "I hate Vrabe," over and over in his notebook. He even said Vrabel knows that. That's raw. That's behind the curtain stuff. Now bring that to Foxborough, and it hits on two levels at the same time. On one side, Brown is coming off a chaotic season with the Eagles. Cryptic social posts, miscommunication, and non-stop speculation about what's next. He's got 3 years left on his deal, but there's an out after next season. So the whole, "where does he end up" conversation is always lurking. On the other side, the Patriots just had a successful year, and Vrabel is the guy setting the culture, the weekly routine, the standards. Bringing in a receiver that talented who already had friction with the head coach isn't just football. It's chemistry. It's leadership. It's the Patriot way getting tested in real time. And that's the dilemma that splits the fan base right down the middle. Do you bet on elite talent and believe maturity and a winning environment smooth everything out? Or do you avoid putting gasoline near a flame when the goal is stability? Be honest. Would you want A.J. Brown in Foxborough, even with that Vrabel backstory? Or is that a hard pass? Drop it in the comments. Because there are two paths here. 1. Vrabel treats it as old history, sits him down, sets the boundaries, and Brown buys into being the primary guy in an offense that just proved it can compete deep into the year. 2. The old resentment creeps back in. The same accountability style starts rubbing the wrong way again, and the Patriots become a headline for the wrong reasons at the worst possible time. And here's the thing. If Brown never seemed fully happy in Philly even while winning, what happens when the pressure cranks up for real? Now, there's one number that should be stuck in everybody's head at Gillette Stadium, and it's not wins, it's not touchdowns, it's not cap space. It's 21. That's how many times Drake Maye got dropped just in the postseason. Think about that for a second. A young quarterback carrying the offense, trying to push this team to a Lombardi, and he's getting buried over and over. Every sack isn't just a lost play. It's confidence getting tested. It's the future taking hits. And that's why when you look at this roster, you realize the biggest fight this offseason isn't about flash. It's about survival. A lot of people want to jump straight to the fun stuff. Big-name weapons, highlight plays, the move that wins the internet for a day. But inside the building, the thinking has to be colder than that. Because it doesn't matter who's running routes if your quarterback doesn't have time to breathe. The Super Bowl made that painfully clear. Maye was pressured 25 times in that game. That's not a footnote. That's a diagnosis. And that's why this name matters, even if it doesn't scream headline. Connor McGovern, the Bills' center. The difference in play is real. Garrett Bradbury, the Patriots' current center, allowed a 3.6% pressure rate and gave up 2 sacks across the year and the playoffs. McGovern's pressure rate was 2.4%, and he didn't allow a single sack. 0. Over a full season, that's a gap of 15 pressures. 15. That's 15 plays where Maye isn't forced into a panic throw, a scramble, or a hit. And Bradbury also represents a possible cap-saving move, nearly $7 million freed up if New England moves on. That's not emotion, that's math. The impact is direct. Protect Maye better, speed up his development, and suddenly the entire offense works cleaner. And McGovern has guard experience too. He played guard as his primary position until 2024, then shifted to center to replace Mitch Morse after the Bills moved on. That flexibility matters, especially if the Patriots want to shuffle the interior and potentially slide Jared Wilson to center. This isn't sign a guy, this is stabilize the heartbeat of the line. But here comes the choice that people will argue about all offseason. Do you pay for an outside center and flip the current structure on its head? Or do you bet on growth from the young guys and keep that money for other needs? If you were the GM right now, are you signing McGovern? Or are you riding with the in-house plan? Because the paths are clear. 1. New England invests, locks down the interior, and Drake Maye finally plays with the kind of comfort elite quarterbacks need, opening up more chunk plays, more third and long conversions, more control at the line. 2. The Patriots roll the dice on development. It doesn't come fast enough, and that same fragile feeling comes back right when the schedule gets nasty. And when that happens, the next offensive piece you want to add suddenly depends on whether you can even keep your quarterback upright. Now let's talk about something that sounds almost too simple. The offense was good enough. It was. The Patriots went on a real run. They won big games. They've got a quarterback who looks like he can own the AFC for years. But here's the contradiction nobody loves admitting. This offense still left points on the field when it mattered most, especially in the red zone. New England scored touchdowns on 55.71% of its red zone trips, 20th in the league. That's not elite. That's opportunity slipping away. And that's why the tight end conversation isn't just background noise. Austin Hooper is hitting free agency. Hunter Henry is heading into the final year of his deal. And in a tight end-rich free agent class, there's a name that makes a lot of sense for this offense. Ravens tight end, Isaiah Likely. Likely hasn't been the full-time starter in Baltimore. He's been stuck behind Mark Andrews. He started 26 games out of 63. But when he's on the field, he makes plays. The production is there. 1,568 career yards and 15 touchdowns. And here's where it gets spicy. 10 of those touchdowns came in the red zone, and 8 came from inside the 10-yard line. That isn't luck. That's feel. That's being a problem when the field shrinks. Now connect that to Drake Maye. In Baltimore, Lamar Jackson's running ability naturally steals some opportunities from the pass catchers in certain areas. Maye can run, sure, but his legs aren't the centerpiece of this Patriots offense the way Lamar's are. Likely would still share the field with Henry next season, but after that, he could step into that number 1 tight end role. And he gives you another legit red zone threat right now, the kind of target that can bail you out when the play breaks down. There's also the after-catch piece. Almost half of Likely's yards have come after the catch, and that's an area the Patriots need to improve. You want quick throws that turn into real gains. You want a tight end who can turn a 5-yard catch into a first down. Likely fits that. And compared to bigger-name tight end options like Kyle Pitts, David Njoku, or Dallas Goedert, Likely would likely be a cheaper swing, more smart value than splash. But here's the argument that's going to split Patriots Nation. Do you go get Likely now, even with Hunter Henry still in the building? Or do you wait and trust Henry to hold it down through the end of his contract? Does that idea excite you? Or does it make you nervous? I want your take. Because again, 2 paths. 1. The Patriots bring Likely in, build a dangerous 2 tight end look, get better immediately in the red zone, and set up a smooth succession plan for the future. 2. They don't act. Henry ages, the production dips, and suddenly the offense loses one more weapon right when every point matters. Let me say this. Players who've never been the featured option often arrive starving. And when that hunger lines up with a young quarterback who trusts you, that's how a new favorite target gets created. And that leads straight into the decision that could reshape the whole receiving room. If this move happens, a lot of people in Foxborough are going to feel the shock immediately, because it's not just about football. It's about cap space and identity. There's a real possibility the Patriots move on from Stefon Diggs to free up money. He's got a big cap hit, and he's one of those bubble names when teams start clearing space. Same conversation exists around bigger deals like guard Mike Onwenu. It's not about whether these guys can play. It's about what the numbers allow you to build around Drake Maye. The impact is obvious. Diggs was the Patriots' top wide receiver in 2025. 85 catches, 1,013 yards, 4 touchdowns. That's production you can't just shrug off. But in the playoffs, his output dropped to 27.5 yards per game. And yeah, Maye's shoulder injury mattered. The pressure up front mattered. All of it mattered. Still, the question hangs there. Is Diggs your true number one, or more of a high-end 1A? Because when you're paying top dollar, that difference matters. So here's the conflict. Do you keep Diggs, keep the experience and the familiarity for your young quarterback, and try to fix the other holes around him? Or do you take the cap relief and swing for a new top target who can be the guy long-term? What's the biggest urgency in your mind? Keeping Diggs or chasing a new true number one? Again, 2 paths. 1. New England keeps Diggs, upgrades the line, upgrades the pass rush, and believes that with better protection, Maye and Diggs can put up even bigger numbers together. 2. They move on, open the wallet in a different direction, and go aggressive for a top receiver who becomes the face of the next era. And here's the delicate part. Vrabel knows young quarterbacks need a clear answer on 3rd and long. Tom Brady had years where he didn't have a true boundary number one, and even with him being the greatest ever, that reality cost the team in certain seasons. Maye is too talented to repeat that mistake. Whatever happens next won't just change the depth chart. It's going to reveal how ambitious this Patriots build really is. 4 different signals, but they all point to the same crossroads. Protect Drake Maye, give him reliable weapons, and decide what kind of identity this team wants. The A.J. Brown moment shows how opportunities pop up out of nowhere. The McGovern angle is about keeping your quarterback alive. Isaiah Likely is about quiet evolution and finishing drives. And the Diggs dilemma is choosing between security and reinvention. At the end of the day, the promise is simple. Nail these decisions and you're playing for rings. Miss them and you're watching. So tell me, would you keep the current plan or would you go all in right now? Hit the like button, subscribe, and drop your comment so we can build this Patriots Nation community together.